Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Amir Izzat bin Ruslan. Madam, how are you doing? I hope you and your family are doing well always and stay safe wherever you are. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. So this is my mini project, which is the task of my mini project is to conduct soil classification project within vicinity of my area, which is precinct 15H Petrolia. And I have advised to collect soil examples, conduct soil experiment, field identification, and describe the soil term in terms of water content, particle density, particle size grading and texture, density testing, and last but not least, permeability testing. Water content. So the objectives of this experiment is to determine water content. Alright, the apparatus are soil sample, containers, weighing balance, and oven. The procedure: first thing first, we need to take the soil sample and weight the soil sample with the container, which is W2, and then measure the weight of the container, so that will be W1. So right now we have W1 and W2. After that, we need to put the soil sample in the oven for 24 hours, and then take the soil sample from the oven and let the soil sample temperature cool down to room temperature. After that, weight the soil sample with the room temperature, which is W3, and record the data. So after procedures, we get the results. So the results from here is we have W1, W2, and W3, and the water content. Alright, safety precautions. Alright, you need, before you start the experiment, you need to make sure your weighing balance is in good condition, and your oven as well, which is another thing. You need to switch off your oven after you have used it, because we don't want your electric bill makin tinggi, right? Alright, so the conclusion is we have determined our water content, which is by using the formula of water content, which is W2 minus W1 over W3 minus W1, and then multiply it with 100%. I need to make sure to off the oven after using it. I make sure weighing balance is in good condition before using it, so I will get flawless calculation. Particle density. So the objective of the experiment is to determine the particle density in the soil sample. So the apparatus that we need is glass, roller, and weighing balance. The procedures for the particle density is, first thing first, measure the volume of water in glass and measure the mass of the particle density. And then put the particle density inside the glass until it reaches the bottom of the glass. Take the measurement from the scale of the glass, and then calculate the particle density using formula mass over volume. Alright, for safety precautions, make sure eyes are parallel with ruler when taking glass scale measurement, and wipe the glass before taking the glass weight, because we only want the weight of water inside the glass. So from here, basically we can reduce our what we call flaws lah, size, gradient, and texture. So the objective of the experiment is to determine the particle size, gradient, and texture of soil sample, and the apparatus for the experiment are soil sample and a hole. Alright, moving on to the procedures. First thing first, we need to find soil sample around the house, and then make a hole at the open area with a hole beside the house, and then take some of the soil sample and put on the flat surface, and then use naked eyes to check particle size, gradient, and texture of the soil sample. After that, for the gradient of the soil sample, check if the set particle is well graded, poorly graded, or uniformly graded. Precautions: carefully dig a hole when using a hole so no one will get injured. And the other one is check the soil sample for a couple of times so I will get better result of particle size grading. Alright, the next one is density testing. So the objective of this experiment is to determine the density testing of the soil sample. The apparatus that we need is 10 apparatus, weighing balance, and trowel. Alright, moving on to the procedures and safety precautions. Calibrated cone apparatus should be done firstly. So wet the sand cone apparatus full of known density sand. Set the density plate and level clean the test ground. And then collect all excavated soil and wet them all. Invent sand cone apparatus over the density plate and open the valve. Tight the hole with the sand. Close the valve when the sand stops flowing. And then wet the sand cone apparatus with remaining sand. Carefully using sand cone apparatus when excavating the soil so I will get the best soil sample, and make sure weighing balance is in good condition before using it so I will get flawless calculation. Last but not least is permeability testing. So the objectives of the experiment is to determine the permeability testing of soil sample. So the appraisals that we need are 3 soil samples, laterite, sand and gravel, and then roller, bottle, water, curtain, funnel and stopwatch. So the procedures for the experiment are prepare 3 samples soil and measure the diameter of the bottle. And then take a small pieces of cotton as a filter in the bottle. Put laterite salt in the funnel and then pour 300 ml of water through the funnel. Take the time taken by stopwatch when start to pour the water. Measure the height of the water that pass through funnel. Repeat the same step by using another soil like laterite and granite. Safety precautions. Make sure eyes are parallel with ruler when taking diameter of water and hide the water that pass through funnel. And last but not least is make sure stopwatch is well conditioned so the time taken values will be flawless. After I have done conduct all the experiments, I will get result for each experiment, which is 5 of them lah. So for water content, I'll get 29.6%. Particle density, I'll get 20.7 mg per m cube. And then particle size, gradient and texture, I got fine grained salt and uniformly graded. That's for density testing. The bulk density is 4.798. And last but not least, permeability testing is 0.073. So for the discussion, this one is based on results, okay? So first I determine the water content of the sample, which is 29.6%, which is this quite high due to rainy season at my area, which is Putrajaya. I reckon one Malaysia at this moment memang selalu hujan sebab by the time I doing this tengah orang banjir kan, musim banjir. Okay, and then the particle density is 20.7. Particle size, gradient and texture, the salt is fine graded and uniformly graded. I observe the particle size gradient of soil using my naked eyes anyway. And then density of the soil is 4.798 for bulk density. And last but not least, the permeability testing of the soil sample is 0.073. I have successfully determined the soil identification of my site by discovering the water content, particle density, particle size grading, and texture density testing and permeability testing. I have learned from the learning outcomes of the mini project soil identification on how to demonstrate the experiment using creativity and DIY methods. So here are the references. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.